him being in the kitchens on TV. Before that, in a recent interview, television presenter Scarlett Moffatt revealed that when she became a mum to their son Jude, she put a lot of pressure on herself to be the perfect mother. And it would seem she's not alone. According to recent research, 63% of parents say they often feel under pressure to get everything right. I mean, it is scary when you have your first baby, Sue, but did you put yourself under pressure? Did you worry about it? You know, did you even think, what is a perfect parent?
Yeah, I put so much pressure on myself. I mean, I had Elliot when I was 32, so I suppose I was classed as a mature mother. But I do remember the first time the health visitor came round and I was feeling a bit weepy, you know, and I was worrying about something. And she literally went, "Oh," she says, "that's why I don't like you older mothers." She said, "Because you all think too much." You know, she said, "If I've got these young ones who come in at 18 and 19, they don't know any difference, they just do it." She says, "Where you all just beat yourself up." And I think we do beat ourselves. I know that I definitely did. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think kids remember perfection. They just remember they want warmth, they want love, they want security, and they want to be heard. And I think, you know, we do put too much pressure on ourselves, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I had Jack at 42, so I didn't...
Well, you were old.
I was very old, very old. But I didn't put that pressure on myself, only because, not because I didn't want to be the perfect mother, only because I was 42, so I had maturity and experience, and I know there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Where if I'd have had him young, I'm sure I probably would have...
And presumably you'd seen a lot of your friends
All my friends had children, so I had all of them to call. What happens doing this? What should I do? And they all just kept my feet on the ground, and I think just generally you're a bit more confident, aren't you, older? But you had your first daughter, what, when you were 20-ish?
So I've had a child in every decade. Yeah, one in my 20s, one in my 30s, one in my 40s. So I too was a geriatric mother. Yeah. That's the official term. It's so interesting when I think back to how I parented or how I felt as a parent when I had Ava in my 20s. I was so unfair on myself. I put an exorbitant amount of pressure on myself. And then when Hero came along and then I became a single mum, I put even more pressure on myself because I felt I had even more to prove. Like, I can do it and I'm not going to let them down and they're not going to suffer as a result. And I just look at the amount of pressure that parents feel and the judgment that is levied in our direction, whether it's social media, whether it's comparison, whether it's other people just walking down the street. And then I think as well of how different my children are. I couldn't even parent my children the same way. I've got to be a different parent to each child because they are understandably so different. Yeah. And then I've got my son who came along in my 40s, and now I feel for him because he's like he's got 3 mums. Yeah. Because he's got the other 2 girls, and he's just, you know, really, really sort of enveloped in all this love and care. But you're so right, Sue. It's like the basics of what a child needs. I wish we could take away all the extra trappings that we feel we need to provide, or that the outside circle makes you feel that they need to have.
I mean, you mentioned there being a single parent, and I know, Brenda, you felt that very keenly, didn't you, that you wanted to get it right even more, to just prove people wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. What Marlene says about the social stereotype of being young. I was 21, I was single, had a job, but also my colour would go against me as a statistic. So, you know, but with me, the pressure that I kind of put myself mentally under was to reach a milestone of getting past the age of 4, which was when Mum and Dad died. So I just wanted to be there for my kids and make sure that I was there in a weird way. And then when they did arrive, I cotton-wooled them, which my Auntie Pam is always telling me off about. I just mummy-cuddled and cotton-wooled because I just didn't want them to be taken away from me and da-da-da-da-da-da.
And did they complain? I mean, obviously not when they're very young, but as, you know, did they say,
"Oh, they moaned, they complained,
please."
They complained greatly. And as I've said, Jamal wrote a book about me keeping him locked up and locked inside, but I didn't really care about that. It was just what I felt that I knew. And when I was young, you know, there were so many magazines. I would get Mother and Baby, this and that, and compare them and put them all together. So I was ready for the hospital whenever the babies arrived. I had my bag and I had the baby's bag. That was all I needed, and I had an abundance of love. I didn't really care about anybody else. I kind of muted out the outside world for everything else and just, you know... I softened the corners.
But what is perfection? What does that even mean?
Well, exactly. But I do think we need to I think we don't all get it right. None of us have got it right. I've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. But I do think also, rather than beating us up all the time, we need to sort of be compassionate with ourselves. And we've tried our best. We've done our best. And the times when I fall out with Elliot, and even he's 30 now, so I'll say, Elliot, this is my first time on the planet. I've not been here before. I've not been a mother before. And, you know, it's like, so, yes, we're going to get things
I was
wrong.
saying this morning to all of you, wasn't it? It would be really fascinating to be a fly on the wall when your children are a bit older and talking to their friends, you know, when you sit round and go, so what was your childhood like? So you go, oh, wonder what Jack would say.
Yeah.
Oh, it was happy, or my mum was always at work. I don't know, she was a moany, I don't know. Yeah. You wouldn't say that, though, Jack, would you? Sure. I know he watches sometimes. But it is interesting because, you know, you try to do things that you didn't like about your own childhood and your parents' parenting, thinking, I'm never going to do that, but then you probably do something else.
No, I was locked up
and
I kept my kids locked up. That didn't work.
OK, now, we're going to take another break. After that, if you're stuck in a cooking rut and you need some food inspiration, our guest has some simple but always delicious recipes that might just help you. James Martin is here.